Okay, Cyprus came out with a residency by investment program. Just recently, they revised on the investment options. I want to go over that with you today. And now this is not the Citizenship by Investment program. This is the Residency by Investment program. They scrapped the Citizenship by Investment programs. They had some bad dudes that got in, and so they got rid of it. Now, the Residency by Investment program, this one is one of the best in the industry today. It's very, very at the very, very top. It's with the St. Kitts and Nevis Residency by Investment program. Ireland had a real good program too, but Ireland canned their program, and now their program is pretty expensive. You have to come in with and hire a lot of people and be self-employed. It's not an attractive program anymore, but this one is. This one is very attractive. Now, again, this is criteria that's granted for the immigrant permit within the scope of the expedited procedure to applicants who are third country nationals, and they invest in Cyprus. And again, this came out, this is the fourth revision that came out in May of 2023, just came out, okay? Now, in line with revisions of regulation, what's called 6.2 of the Aliens Immigration Regulations, the Minister of Interior, having notified the Council of Ministers, has decided to issue an immigration permit to third country applicants in cases of investments that meet the requirements of the policy. Now, the applicant must meet one of the investment criteria, which I'm going to explain to you the options that you got here, as well as the quality criteria, which I'm going to go through and explain to you how that works too. Now, it's noted that the funds used for the investment must be approved to have been transferred to Cyprus from abroad and from the applicant's or their bank account, provided this. It can also come from the spouse's bank account, provided that the spouse will be included as the dependent person in the application. Now, the investment amount should be paid from the applicant's bank account to the seller's account in a Cyprus financial institution, because this is one option you're going to have for investing in property. Now, let's go over the investment criteria. The applicant must invest at least 300,000 euros in one of the several categories they're going to give you here. One of them is investment in a house or apartment. Now, the purchase of a house or apartment from a development company, which must be the first sale worth at least 300,000 euros plus the VAT. Now, when they say the first sale, this is going to have to be a new house. So this is one disadvantage if you don't like buying new homes, because usually what happens is you have headaches, getting new homes built, because an existing home will not, suffice. But there are some exclusions, which I'm going to go over with you in just a second. Also, folks, if you want to legally get around paying high income taxes, or how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do three things. Hit the subscribe button at the right of your screen right here, and you get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. And if you need some help, again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. Okay, now let's look at the investment in real estate, excluding houses and apartments. Again, I went through the first option, which is investing in a house or apartment that was 300,000 euros, and then you have the VAT on top of that. The second option is purchase of other types of real estate, such as offices, shops, hotels, or related estate developments, or a combination thereof, with a total value of 300,000 euros. Now, the key to this is that these purchases can come from a resale, not just a new property. But now, the hotels are going to be running probably a lot more than 300,000 euros. But you do have like beauty salons and shops and stuff like this that are smaller commercial type units. But remember, when you resell commercial units, they typically are harder to resell than residential. You need to have that in your mind, because that happens a lot. Now let's look at the C option here, which is investment in Cyprus companies' share capital with business activities and personnel in the Republic. Now, an initial investment of 300,000 euros in the share capital of a newly registered company in the Republic of Cyprus, or an increase in the share capital worth 300,000 euros of an existing company registered in the Republic of Cyprus. based and operate in the Republic of Cyprus, and having a proven physical presence in Cyprus, and employing at least 5 people. Now, this can be pretty expensive because of the hiring option, but if you're going to hire people anyway, and you'll be setting up a business, then this might be a better option for you. There is another option, which is investment in units of Cyprus Investment Organization of Collective Investments. They come from actually forms of AIF, AIFLNP, and then RAIF. These are the parameters that you're going to have to pick on this investment, because not all the investments that you can go in Cyprus are going to qualify, only this particular one. Now, investment worth of 300,000 units of Cyprus Investment Organization, also called Collective Investments, whose investments should be held in the Republic of Cyprus. Now, it's noted that any alienation of the holder of the immigration permit from the investment he or she has made without the immediate replacement with another of the same or greater value, which must meet the conditions set out in the present procedure that I've just gone out with you on, will result in the cancellation of the immigration permit based on the provisions of Regulation 6 of the Aliens and Immigration Regulations. So you've got to keep this in force. There are other things you're going to have to do too. There's also health insurance that you're going to have to keep. If you don't go with the home option, you're going to have to rent. You're going to have to show proof of your rental every year, which I'll go over that with you. Now, the applicant should, in addition to the investment under the paragraph 2.1 I was just talking about a minute ago, to be able to prove that he has at his disposal a personal secure annual income of at least 50,000 euros. Now, this annual income increases by 15,000 euros for his or her spouse, and 10,000 for each of his or her dependent minor children. Now, this income should derive from abroad and may include salaries or wages, pensions, dividends from shares, bank deposits, interest, rents, which can only be proved through a tax return declaration from the country that's declared in as a tax resident. Now, in cases where the applicant chooses to invest, as I mentioned before on these options, now in calculate the total amount of income, the spouse's income may also be taken into account. Now, in cases where the applicant chooses to invest as in sections B, C, and D, which are the ones I just went over just a minute ago, your total income or part of it may also come from sources coming from activities within the Republic. All right, now let's look at the quality of criteria that you're going to have to meet, not just off these investments, but the applicant and his or her spouse must provide a clean criminal record, certificate from the country of origin and their country of residence, if different, and generally they should not pose any sort of threat or any threat to the public or public security in Cyprus. Now, the applicant and his or her dependent family members must submit a health insurance policy certificate for medical care covering the inpatient, outpatient care. Now, you're going to have to show this every year to keep your residency in force. Now, the applicant and his or her spouse shall confirm that they do not intend to undertake any form of employment in the Republic, with the exception of the employment as directors in a company in which they have chosen to invest under this policy. Now, in cases where the investment does not concern the company's share capital, the applicant or his or her spouse are permitted to be shareholders in companies registered in Cyprus. Now, the income from the dividends derived from such companies may not be considered as an obstacle for the purpose of attaining the immigration permit in such companies. They may also hold the position of an unpaid director. Now, in cases where the applicant chooses to invest as per paragraphs B, C, and D, which I went over with you just a minute ago, he or she should provide evidence of accommodation in the Republic, like title of ownership or contract of sale or proof of payment for the property or rental agreement. Okay, so again, if you don't go with the home program and you go with other sort of alternative program, and you're not living in Cyprus, you're still going to have to carry a rental if you didn't buy that house under that program. So these are some pretty bad high expenses that you can hit if you're not living there. Now in St. Kitts, which I always call the golden standard, you don't have to go with a fast track program with that. You can go with a slow track and get residency by investment in St. Kitts. But the nice thing about that is your residency, you don't have to show up every year, every 2 years or whatever, like a lot of these residency by investment programs. And also with Cyprus, they require you going back, I think it's every 2 years you have to go back, and you have to be there for a certain period. Now in St. Kitts, you don't have that. Once you get residency in St. Kitts, you can leave for 3 years if you want to. It doesn't make any difference. And again, St. Kitts doesn't have an income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. Cyprus, you will have a non-dom status, but it only lasts 17 years. And long enough to get you in a tax trap, okay? Now, if you don't like that, that's something you ought to consider here, because that is a fact. Now, in cases where the applicant chooses to invest, basically, they're going to look at in cases where you're going to have to choose to invest under either paragraph A, which is buying that house, but the number of bedrooms, this is another gotcha too they got on this that you're going to have to consider too. You have to be careful on, because you can really screw things up. The number of bedrooms of the investment property cannot satisfy the needs of the dependent members of his or her family. They should indicate another property or properties which will serve as the residence of these individuals, title of ownership or contract of sale, and proof of payment for the property or rental agreement. So in other words, if you're getting a one-bedroom house or apartment and you've got 4 children, they're not going to allow this, okay? Let's go over the legal elements to this. Now, investing in a house or apartment or other real estate. Now, the applicant should submit along with his or her application the title deed or sale contract in his or her name, or the name of the spouse, which has been officially filed at the Department of Lands and Surveys for a house or any other real estate. Now, the total market value, again, as I mentioned to you before, is 300,000 euros plus the VAT. The applicant and the official payment receipt should be at least 300,000 euros, excluding the VAT, regardless of the property's delivery date. Now, it's noted that upon submission of the application, evidence must be provided that the investment money has derived from abroad and is not the result of domestic borrowing, remittances, foreign card payment, receipts, bank certificate, and should be linked to the corresponding investments. The remaining value of the investment should be repaid to the seller's account at a Cyprus financial institution. Now, it should be stressed that the real estate purchase will be accepted even when it's made in the name of the legal person, provided that the applicant and his or her spouse are the sole shareholders or the ultimate beneficial owners, and that this legal person is legally established in the Republic or any other member state in the European Union or of the European Economic Area. Now, for the purpose of implementing the provisions that I've just gone over with you in paragraph 2 regarding the purchase of a house or apartment, it's specified that the applicant may purchase up to 2 housing units, apartments, or houses, provided that the total market value meets the provisions of paragraph 4.1 that I've just gone over with you. The above condition also applies to couples. Now, the mentioned purchase must relate to dwelling sold for the first time by a development company unless the purchasing occurred before July the 5th, 2013. Now, sale contracts relating to the resale of dwellings and have been submitted to the Department of Lands and Surveys before July the 5th, 2013. The date of the filing of the sale contract will be confirmed by the said department, will be accepted for the purposes of this policy. Now, it's noted that the properties do not need to be purchased from the same development company. It can be purchased through any development company that you've got in Cyprus. In cases where the sale contract has been signed on the title of ownership has been issued more than a year after the applicant's submission, the applicant must include a recent search certificate of immovable property from the Department of Lands and Surveys in their application. Now, folks, if you want to learn more on this, we do this program here. You can go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. And again, don't forget the subscribe button right on your screen right here. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.